Hi, everybody. It's Daly Walsh, the poetic warrior of the mental health warriors, and welcome to Straight Sane and Sober for June 28th, 19. I'm still stuck in the 20th century, Andrea, but it's
That's okay.
2022. It's
That's old
2022.
school.
Yep. And we're honored to have as our guest today a fellow warrior, Andrea Evans. And she had a little trouble with the store, so she's in her car, but she's on her phone and she's all ready to go. So uh, basically, let me just start with the introduction, and then I'll read a poem, and then we'll get down to the interview. Okay, well, have
Okay.
a
Okay.
we're rolling. Hi, everybody. Welcome. And thanks for coming by and spending an hour with us today. And as I said, now, Andrea, you're one of our most recent warriors. Do you have a warrior name yet? Or the awareness warrior, is it? Or
Well, I like the Warriors of Attraction, but they haven't given me my own warrior name. We'll have to think about one. Maybe
we'll have to
Frassy, my
we'll
my
have to.
childhood name, the Frassy Warrior. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll brainstorm on that. But as people who watch the show know, I start every show with a poem, since I am the poetic warrior. And actually, this is one that's hot off the press. I haven't written anything for about 6 weeks, and I sort of like got down on myself and said, "You have to write something." So this is what came out, and I hope it pleases everybody. It's called "A Lover of Your Spirit." I have never heard your voice, nor seen you in video reality, but I have absorbed the soul of the words we exchange nightly across the abyss of the continent, as my heart has been captured by the beauty of your bodily grace I see in every picture you send me. So I have adopted blinders to the charms of other women who approach seeking my romance, even as I ponder deeply the future of a life of consummation with you on the wave-pounded shores of Hawaii where we honeymoon in rapturous passion of fulfillment, and dolphins swim in the blue Pacific, while the intoxicating trade winds blow sensuous across the body of our mutual nudity under tropical sun, bringing what was to this frozen heart the illuminating heat of transformation. So
What a
that's
beautiful poem.
thank you. I sometimes when I don't write, I think I've lost my gift, but I really like this one. I think it came out very well. So Andrea,
I'm having some. I,
so
I,
tell
I
us.
really thought the poem was beautiful. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear
Yeah, I
me?
have a lot of background noise going on because I'm on the road trying. So I apologize if I'm having some technical difficulties with you at this moment.
Well, tell us about your adventure in the supermarket today. That's why you're in your car right now, right?
You said what?
I said, tell us about your adventure in the supermarket. Tell us
About my what?
about your shopping adventure today. About in the supermarket
Um,
where you got your food. You
you
said
said
that someone
tell you about the show.
no the shopping today. Shopping.
The topic? Well, the
Shopping.
topic is about, we discussed that the topic was going to be about, motherhood, mental health, health.
And
I think we
activism.
discussed that we were going to talk about those things today.
Well, can you hear me okay?
No,
Oh, okay. Well,
that's, I mean, I'm going to read your lips a little bit till we stop and get to the house.
okay.
Just bear with me. Be patient, and I'm going to be patient. But this
So,
stuff happens sometimes, you guys. You gotta, you gotta do what you can. You know what I mean? So
right.
at least I'm here.
So why don't we just start with your story? How did you get to the mental health warriors?
Well, I got on the mental health warriors because I have my own, as we call, labels. Um, Obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety, and that could lead to depression. You know, so those things cause me to do a lot of overthinking sometimes. And when I signed up for the mental health warriors, you have to fit the criteria of what the show is about. And so being a mental health warrior, I know and I'm learning that becoming that mental health warrior is dealing with your own mental health, no matter what labels you may have on you, you can still and you can still help other people to have the courage to even discuss some of the labels that they may have in mental health.
Right. So, uh,
So,
when did you find out about your mental health challenge? When did you
um,
find out?
I found out about my mental health when I was, let's see, it's probably been about
Okay, we're having some technical difficulties.
20,
There we go.
25 years, 20, 25 years or so that I've actually had the diagnoses or the labels that they have put upon me.
Right. And well, you seem like very well adjusted now. What was the what were the what was there anything in particular that like really helped you to overcome your mental illness?
Well, I can't, we have to work on it on all the time. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? I don't think we can, well, you say overcome. I guess I look at it like I don't feel that I really overcome it completely because it's something that you're going to, that you know what I'm saying? So how do I deal with it? Well, I try to mindset shift because to me, it has a lot to do with those obsessive thoughts because I'm on my computer and I'm on the road, I'm pulling and I'm on the show as I'm rolling. So that can be a trigger for me. And I can get frustrated real easy and I need people to be patient with me. So being able to mindset shift and being able to, when I'm talking with people, I see them get a little, overwhelmed with me and how they don't know how to deal with me. So I'm honest with them and I say, look, I have OCD and I also have anxiety. They've said that I'm on the borderline of PT, post-traumatic stress disorder. And trying to help them to effectively help me so that we can have an effective communication I'm very
Andrea, can you hear me? You're freezing. You're freezing, Andrea. I can't. You're not coming through.
So what I'm doing, once I get up to my house, then I should.
Okay. Well, we'll let you get in, and I'm very interested in what you were saying. Just waiting for you to get a clear view of yourself. So while Andrea gets into her house, here we go. Andrea joined the Mental Health Warriors about a month. Can you hear me better?
Are you still there?
I'm still here. Are you? Can you hear me better? We aren't even Mercury retrograde, and we're still having technical problems. So,
all right, are we okay now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you real good.
Good. Okay, well,
I'm sitting by my router. Okay, yeah, we got the internet going. So
okay, great.
So we should be good to go. I'm sorry, but I'm moving around and everything, but I can hear you great. I'm gonna try to get some sunlight in here. And again, I apologize, everyone. Life happens to all of us, doesn't it?
Right. Well, actually,
but at least I'm not freaking out, right?
No, you're staying very calm.
I'm trying to stay calm. And that's the thing, just, talking to myself so that I don't freak out or have a break because things aren't going the way that I want them to,
Right. Well, actually, when you misheard me, and I said, "Why don't you tell us about your shopping adventure today?" Because it sounds.
Oh boy. Okay. So, the insurance that I use, I was standing in line and couldn't pay for my groceries.
Okay.
And I tell you, that was stressful. That was stressful. That was quite stressful for me. And so I'm standing there sweating like I don't know what, because that's what happens. I'll get a heat flash, and I'm standing there because my card wouldn't work. But the universe was wonderful, and a gentleman came and paid for my groceries, $136 worth of groceries.
Wow.
Because he saw me standing there. I mean, I was kind of getting a little, the anxiety was definitely there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm supposed to be on a podcast show, and I'm just saying this in the store.
Right.
And I'm supposed to be there right now. And I had been in the store for over an hour just trying to get my groceries. I would have been home and on my computer like I usually am. But you know what? My mindset shifted to, we're not going to let Dale down. We're not going to let the audience and the community down. What we're going to do, I'm going to go live from my phone. So, we had a few technical difficulties because of the internet. But once I got in my house and got by the by my my router, it
Yeah.
seems like we're doing okay now. So I feel better. I'm calming down.
Well, good. Well, we still have.
But you know what? We were blessed with groceries. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And we still have 45 minutes to talk, so no harm done, no bad done. So
good.
So well, so this was like complete stranger? He just like paid for your groceries?
Yes, I did not know this person, and this isn't the first time that in my life that this has happened to me. Um, but yeah, the gentleman saw me kind of having a little breakdown over there. I was kind of leaning up against the, in line, and I'm calling the card company, and I'm freaking out to them, and I'm like, I don't have time for this. I'm supposed to be in a podcast show in 5 minutes. And he came over and said, hang up the phone, because I wasn't getting anywhere with the card company at that moment. And time was ticking, and I didn't want to let you down. I didn't want to call you or text you and say I'm having issues, because that would be me shutting down. So I didn't give up.
Good.
And here we are.
Well,
we had an adventure today.
Right. Well, that's actually that ties into something that I'm thinking about, because as you know, I work for like a financial education company, and they asked me to be on the company-wide training tomorrow and just talk. And so I was trying to think about what to talk about, and I was thinking planning, patience, and persistence. And
Wow.
that's where like ties right into what happened to you today, because you never plans, you can't plan for everything, and so but it also says that those who fail to plan to fail. So
that's right.
So basically, I'm thinking about my own strategy in the company, and things haven't been going quickly, but they're going forward, and therefore I need patience. I mean, like, whereas like a lot of people can like close within like one meeting and everything, it's taking me 2 or 3 meetings and everything. But I'm building that patience, and that's the other thing that you had to do, is build that patience today and say, I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to like let my illness take over. It's like I'm just going, and and the persistence to stay with the game ended up with you getting that kind man to pay for your groceries.
And before I went to the store, my mother called, and she was going through some things. And I love my mom, so I got her calmed down, and she was doing good. So I had that kind of on top of my mind, you know what I'm saying? And then go in the store and this and this. I mean, yeah, we could look at it, or I could have looked at it like, oh, everything is messed up and everything is, right. And just shut down totally. No, I had to be persistent, and I had to, even though I was standing there going, oh my gosh, I was just ready to say, here, just put the groceries away. I won't, I'll just try another day. And I didn't have to do that. And then I still had 3 minutes but I was persistent. I did not give up. And, that helps too, a lot, just trying to be persistent, trying to keep calm. I wasn't keeping calm. Look, when we were riding in the cars, I was coming home. I couldn't roll one of the windows in my friend's car up. So the wind, I couldn't hardly hear you. So I was kind of freaking out a little bit. I was like, oh Lord, what are we gonna do? What if it just drops off? Those thoughts started coming, and I said, nope, you just roll with it. Just roll with it. It's okay. You're almost home. It's gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? If you happen to fall off, just go back in,
You did fall off one time, and then you came right back. So that was good.
Yeah. I had to get because I was, again, nothing, things aren't always the way that we plan them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it seems like the universe was giving you a test, and you passed it with flying colors, Andrea.
Yay, universe, thank you. And thank you for seeing that I did pass it with flying colors, because
Right.
yeah, I was freaking out a little bit.
Right.
And then you were calling me while I was on the phone with the card
Right.
company,
Right.
and I knew it was, I'm like, oh my God. And the man is calling me, Dale's calling me right now. And you guys, you're marginalizing me even, I just was freaking
Right.
out. And
Right.
then it's like, Andrea, just chill. Just chill out, take some breaths. And, but I was still freaking out. But that man saw that, and he came over and just said, hang up
Right.
the phone. Let's pay for the groceries, and you go get on your show. You know what I'm saying? On your phone if you can. And I thought, okay, great idea.
Well, this brings up before I want to go into motherhood and all the topics you brought up, but before we do, this brings up a question that like is sort of also prevalent in my head is to what degree has faith played a positive or negative role in your, well, I don't think negative, but to what degree has faith played a positive role in your journey through life?
Okay, when you said negative, I could kind of, it's a wonderful question, Dale, because I'm on the Lancaster County Democratic Party. I'm secretary. And of course, we have secular people who don't want to pray, and then we have people who do. So how do you make it inclusive for everyone? That would be a negative
Right.
to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to bring people together. But I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe in the universe, and I believe in our ancestors, being here to support us. That's what keeps me going. That's where I get my, you can do this. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I do. I just have to say, oh Lord, when in the store today, I was like, Lord, I'm getting ready to fall apart right now. Could you please help me? And
Right.
here came that man and paid for my groceries. So I feel like my prayer was answered right on the spot. And my mother and my family and my elders and grandmother has always taught me that a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And if you think of the Bible verses, I know one speaks of ask and thou shalt receive. Well, I asked today, and I ask a lot, and I receive. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So I think it plays a very positive role in my life because it keeps me thinking positive. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And
Look,
that
we're
gets
in
the
COVID.
mindset.
Yeah,
That gets the mindset too.
yes. So I think spirituality does play a positive role because even with what's going on in the party, I have to say I'm open. You know what I'm saying? I can't force people to believe what I believe. You see what I'm saying? But they can't force me to believe what they believe because we have our values. You know what I mean? So it's all about respect. So that's where the good comes in because the ones that are secular, they know that I'm not out to hurt them. You see what I'm saying? They know that I'm not trying to indoctrinate them. All I'm trying to do is just make sure it's an inclusive situation for everyone involved. So I'm kind of like the devil's advocate in that situation. You see what I'm saying? I'm on the
Absolutely.
good side of both sides. You see what I'm not, I want them to know that I'm a person first, and let's deal with each other and build relationships and get to know each other. See what
Right.
I'm saying? Don't judge me because I do believe. Don't put me in a category or a box because I'm going to break out the box. I'm not the one to put in a box. I
Right.
try to be, I know what it feels like to be judged, and I know what it feels like to be discriminated against because of your beliefs. And at the end of the day, I don't let none of that hold me back from who I am because I continue to rise. And so just trying to keep it good, trying to keep a good mindset, and trying to make sure that we're all able to get along
Well,
basically
I
through it all. So but
that's a
I think it plays a more positive role in my life.
absolutely, and I agree. But the country and the world is so polarized now that that you're told you're judged to be naive if you feel that that you can get along with everybody, because I mean, especially in the last like 2 weeks with the Supreme Court and everything, the country is just like totally polarized. I mean, not only the Roe versus Wade thing, but I don't know if you saw it, but the Supreme Court also said that there was some Texas law about like openly carrying handguns, and they like said that you could do it. And it's like, just like those two decisions themselves like show like the contrast and like what's going on in the country. And and I don't know what the solution is, because the people feel so strongly. And not only do people pass judgment, but they also have this, and like incredible drive to be right. And if people could like sort of like back off on their desire to be right all the time and really listen, then dialogue would be possible. But at this point, it seems like dialogue is basically impossible because the sides are so polarized.
That's so true. And that's what I felt I was experiencing. And like you said, Dale, we're not all going to agree, and we're not all going to get along. I get that. So what I say and what I said was, when they were on their soapbox still trying to get me to get what they were talking about, I get what they're talking about, but this is the bottom line right here. We can respectfully agree to disagree and still be cool with each other. We don't have to love each other, but we can respectfully agree to disagree.
But that's the thing. I mean, I never liked our last president, and but on the other hand, I'm not going to say his name, but on the other, he was so like polarizing for the country that families were breaking up over politics because of him. And it's like, I mean, you can't be judged for what you believe. You can't be judged for your values. You have to be judged as a person. And that's really what the tragedy of this whole situation is. And it's not just in America, it's in the whole world. I mean, the whole world is, I mean, people talk about the biblical end times and everything, and I'm not sure it is, but I don't think that there's ever been like such a gap between people and their beliefs as there is now.
I agree. I try not to get into debates with people about stuff. You see what I'm saying? I just try to come and say, look, we can respectfully agree to disagree. I don't want to be in a debate. I don't want to debate. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to debate with people. I'm just trying to let you know that I'm not trying to hurt you, and I don't want you to hurt me. Period.
Right. Well, we'll leave that one for future generations to work out. But I'm you're the mother of 7, Andrea, and ranging in age, I believe, from like 40 to 16. So you still have like a little one at home and everything, right?
Yes, I have one at home.
So I know I don't want to like put you on the spot, but like, is there like 1 or 2 lessons that you learned from your motherhood and like raising 7 children and everything? What would the ones that come to your forefront of your brain be?
Oh, that's an easy one for me right now, because don't think for your children. And I'm gonna give you an example. I know, okay, I really wasn't a huggy person as a young girl. I became more huggy as I got, and able to hug and show affection. But I always thought, well, my children, they probably don't want all that. They don't want me hugging all on them, and they probably don't want me sending them affirmations. I'm thinking for them. And then when I was, communicating with my children and discussing this with them, they're letting me know that a lot of them would love to get the affirmation. So now I'm mindful and I send my daughter an affirmation at least once or 2 or 3 times a week. And I'm doing that with my sisters now too. Being the one to reach out and quit thinking that they're going to reject what I'm bringing and thinking for them, and just ask them. You know what I mean? It's and learn from them what they would like or not, instead of me thinking for them, and letting go as they get older. Letting go and they're ready to move out into the world. We want them to launch, but then there's a side of me that's like, well, you're still only 18. They might have a couple of months left to their birthday, and I'm still trying to be controlling them instead of, I know I moved out when I was 18. You know what I'm saying? And I've been doing well. I haven't had to go back home since. So I've had to learn to step back, show restraint, and be able to open my mouth and know what my children want instead of thinking for them that, well, they probably won't. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying perfectly, and I agree, and that's true not only for parents and children, but also for all people. I mean, as you say, it says in the Bible, asking you will receive.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my weaknesses is I'm really like reluctant to ask for help. Because of my own journey. My own journey is like, it used to be that I would be forced to get help. I would be in a situation where I'd be put in the hospital and I would be forced to get the help. But, as time has gone on, I remember a few times when I sort of felt that God was talking to me, offering me help, and I'd say, no, I want to do it alone. But, that's counterproductive. And, as I've gotten older, it's just like the idea of like asking for help or like seeking help is like, people want to help you. I mean, like that man in the store today, I mean, you didn't ask her. I mean, you asked Jesus, but he's the instrument that Jesus manifested through. But, I mean, but this idea that, if you have to be self-sufficient, you have to be a lone wolf, and you have to run alone. I think I think there's an old, I don't know, I think it's an Indian saying that goes, if you want to run quickly, run alone. But if you want to run long, then go in a group. And that's really the bottom line.
I like that idea, because, even the thing is, looking at self can be hard as well. I mean, when you're asking for help, even asking yourself for help, giving yourself permission to, for instance, to take self-care. You know what I'm saying? If I need a day off, be able to ask for it and take that mental health day if that's what you need, as opposed to thinking, oh, they're going to judge me, and be afraid to even open your mouth to get that help of self-care. Giving yourself permission to do it and knowing that it's okay. It's not selfish. When you have 7 kids, who are you thinking about? All the 7 kids. You're not really thinking about me. I'm not thinking about myself. But now that they're older, I do see things different. My mindset has shifted to a different way of thinking, and I am able to reach out to people and ask for help. My sister, my mom, the kids' dad, if I need help. Now, I tell you, back in the day, asking him for help, I would never try to do it, because you know what? The ego trip.
Right.
I'm not going to dare ask him for help. You know what I mean? No. We have to be able to do what's necessary to take care of ourselves as well. And we can fail in that because we're not thinking of ourselves. We're thinking of everybody else and overthinking for them and not even looking in our direction. I didn't think that I was supposed to pray for myself. I thought the idea is you pray for others. You don't worry about praying for yourself. That's selfish. And then when I talked with my elders about it, they set me right and let me know, no, that's, it's not in your own understanding what you thought it was. you know, um, what it is, it's not what we always think that it is. So I think that it's important for us to be able to ask for help, even to ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think there's a paradox going on because, first off, I feel that self-care is not selfish, and you got to take care of yourself first. But the other thing is that, we in recent years, and especially with the baby boomers, I think we're both baby boomers and stuff. You might be a little after that, but, uh, this idea of narcissism has become like so dominant, and people say, if you look after yourself and after your own interests, people call you a narcissist and implying it's something bad that you're doing. But, you got to look after yourself. And I'm in my own mental health journey. There have been times when I've really had to really focus on myself and just like my own mental health and like close out everything else just to maintain my own sanity, so the but the idea that that it's selfish to take care of yourself or to look after your own interests has been like transformed into this idea of like toxic narcissism. And it's like that's not the case, I mean, because ultimately you're left with yourself, at the end of the day.
That's right. When you talk about your mental health journey and speaking on mine, um, I think in March, maybe last year, well, the year before, right after Black Lives Matter and all that happened and the whole universe blew up and with COVID, and it was a lot of hate stuff going on. And that was hitting at me personally. People was attacking me personally and spiritual warfare. And then, that was the time when I was talking with my children, about being more open to being, just sitting and hugging, holding my kids, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
as adults, and that they don't mind. I kind of was feeling like, no one cared, and I wanted to take my life, and sat in the tub and thought about doing so, but I prayed myself out. And I know my grandmother was there. She's my guardian angel. And they said, and I had drove all the way from Colorado, so I was tired, had a big old break, a whole bunch of arguing happening when I got home. And when I just felt so alone. But I was able to get out of that tub, and I was able to call my mother for the first time and say, Mom, I'm not okay. Call the children's dad, call my children, tell them, hey, I'm not okay. And they all came, and they were like, first off, we want to support you. Please get some rest. I hadn't slept. If you don't sleep properly, that's going to mess with your mind as well. And once I got some rest and I was able to get up the next day, and that's when I called my family and got the necessary care from them that I felt like I have not been receiving because I hadn't been asking for it, because they see me as the strong person. I
Right.
sometimes think, and they think, oh, nothing bothers her. She's tough. She's hard. So being able to be vulnerability warrior might be a good one for me right now,
Right. Right.
because that's what I've been doing, being able to show people and express to the masses that, you know what, I'm not always okay. Yeah, you see all these wonderful things and accomplishments that I'm doing and all that, but I'm a human being and I have feelings and I cry and I break down too. I just don't show it. Wasn't even showing it to my family, not even my own mother. So what was their expectation? Oh, she's tough, she can handle everything. It took that time of vulnerability for me to be able to get on the phone and call all of them together and let them know. And things have been going a lot better since then because I'm able to do it more.
Well, the flip side of that is, if you're put in a situation growing up where you always have to be the adult child to the adult to your parents, and you build up this reputation of being strong, then it's very hard to like break through that that programming that everybody has about you and say, and to be vulnerable. And I admire that you did that. It's just that I mean, I was always like my mother always called me a rock at Gibraltar, and it's just like I always was there for her, and when she was going through things, she would come to me, and because she was unable to go to anybody else, but ultimately I think it had like a very deleterious effect on me because I was just like always in a mindset where I had to solve all the problems and I wasn't able to, and that just like escalated into my delusion, and it's just like, uh, ultimately, this idea that whoever's strongest has to be the focus of everybody else's weakness is like going to bring you down.
That's right. And that's the thing, being a helper as well. You have so many people that come for help, which, I love doing, but sometimes I can be in a place where I'm like, well, what about me? And then I feel like, and then if I like, sometimes I be a vulnerability warrior on Facebook and I'll share my feelings about that. And then I'll get people that'll go in there and reply, well, it's better to give than to receive. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I've heard that one. But what about me being taken care of too? It's not about giving and receiving per se. It's about taking care again of yourself and helping others to know what your needs are, as far as that is concerned. So, yeah, you kind of get in a catch-22 situation there. So how can I freely express myself in regards to what I feel I don't receive from others? I jump in and help so many people, and it does hurt. It does make me sad. People don't see me at that point in time. They might see what I'm posting, but I'm feeling probably even worse than what that post was saying. And then
Right.
when someone tells me, well, it's better to give than to receive, well, that's not helping me. That's kind of making me feel a little worse because then I'm feeling like, okay, now I'm being ungrateful or, what is it,
Right.
it
Well,
can be, yeah, it could be hard to
the
express yourself.
whole thing is balance. I mean, if you keep inhaling or if you keep exhaling, either way you're going to pass out because you need both. You need equal amount of inhale and exhale in order to like be able to oxygenate your body. So
That's
you
right.
that's the thing. It's all a balance. I mean, and one of the people that I follow talks about narcissism versus altruism, and like how you have to be narcissistic to a degree, but in order to be happy and healthy, you have to be altruistic on the other hand. So it's just like always finding that balance between yin and yang, and like being able to like live with it. And I think that's this world is completely out of balance, and I think that's one of the major problems that's going on because people are so like caught up in. I shouldn't generalize, but I will. But people are so caught up in their own ideas that they can't see the needs and the desires and the aspirations of other people because they're so busy pursuing theirs. And so but I think the balance is really the key to like regaining some sort of sanity in this world. And I don't know how we're going to do that, but I think it's essential.
It is essential. And I have to say, since I've been able to, like the different groups that I'm involved in, I'll go and help, but then, then I tell myself, okay, they see all this work I'm doing out here in the world. No one's offering to jump in and support me and help me in what I'm doing. And instead of holding that like I used to do,
And, you know, just being around them and feeling like that can be poisonous in the long run. You see what I'm saying? Holding it in. So just being able, and I've been able to be that vulnerability warrior in every situation and let them know how I feel. You see what I'm saying? And explaining, okay, this is how I feel. This is not necessarily truth of how it is, but this is what it feels like to me right now. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to attack anyone, you know, trying to make sure that I'm not hurting others when I'm telling them what I need. But you know what? It has gotten me a lot more help in the, you know, in the long run, because they heard me and I didn't come in with the poison after I held it forever and then I blow up on folks. No, I'm trying to do that in a more mindful manner, even for others that I'm communicating with, you know, saying, hey, I need y'all support. I need your help. You know, I'm here. Who's going to be here for Andrea? You know what I'm saying?
But the basic foundation of vulnerability is being in touch with your own feelings, and so consequently, you know, the more you're in touch with your feelings, the more you can be vulnerable, and the more vulnerable you are, then the more you're going to be a real person. But the upshot of it is, the more vulnerable you are, the more other people are going to be comfortable being vulnerable around you. And
empathy.
Right.
That's empathy. Yes.
Right. But you know, but the empathy is you know, is essential. But you know, you can also overdo too much empathy too. So
yes, you can.
It's always like a matter of finding the balance. And you know, I don't want to like go on about balance too long, but
you can, because you know what, Dale, that's the truth. You're telling the truth. It is about balance. Every show I've been on, we've discussed it just a little bit. You see what I'm saying? So anything that you have to say about balance, I think it could be helpful, not just to me, but to our listeners as well. So please, if you want to speak more about balance, go for it, because I think it's a good subject. I think it's something that we do need. And why not talk about it?
Well, if I'll expostulate a little bit, but just looking at my own history, you know, when I was judged psychotic, you know, many times, and you know, I haven't been in a hospital for 30 years, but you know, from like 1975 to 1984, I was like in and out of the hospital, and you know, judged psychotic, and what people mean when they say you're psychotic is that means you're out of balance with yourself, and your whole focus is on like obsessive or delusional thoughts that you believe are true, and no, but you can't convince anybody else they're true, you know. So you know, I by necessity have learned to like maintain balance, just because the balance between sanity and between psychosis and it's not normalcy. The opposite of psychosis is health. So, you know, but the balance between psychosis and health has to be, you know, I mean, you don't, if you tend too much towards health, then you tend to become distant and detached. Whereas if you become psychotic, then you become like narcissistic in the clinical sense of the word, and totally self-focused. So, you know, but I'm not. I think that all opposites are basically on a spectrum. With that, it's one spectrum. You know, I mean, there's psychosis, and then there's like mental health, and then there's good, there's bad, and everything exists on a continuum. And there's no absolute anything except God, and therefore, in order to be able to be well adjusted, you have to find that place on the seesaw between the two extremes where you can like be comfortable.
Right. And I take messages from the universe. For instance, numerology. I see 1111 a lot, all the time. And then when you go and look, you know, and do some research on them, it's about kind kind of like a balance for me. You know what I mean? Because what it does is it helps me to be able to look at things in the manner of it's going to be okay, having hope. And you know, it's like look around you. So anyway, with the number 1111, it's about trying to manifest those good thoughts into,
Right.
you know, and that's what it's talking about to me. Try to think positive thoughts, because you're at the point where breakthroughs are happening right before you. And that balance is making sure that you're like, hey, I
Right.
need, you know, I need to focus on, look at all this wonderful stuff. You can go to one side, which is really the bad side of it, and be looking at things like everybody's against me. You see what I'm saying? The healthy part is being drawn back to, okay, look at reality. Look at all these people that love you. Look at all these people that look up to you. You know what I'm saying? You have to have those self-talks, I guess. And I can kind of identify with the 1111, because what is that going to do? That's going to make me to try to stay focused on the positive thoughts, because I want to manifest the positive stuff.
Right.
Instead of the negative. So,
well, then that brings up another controversial subject, which is the idea of toxic positivity, where you try to be so positive all the time that basically you leave reality. I mean, life is tough, and you have to be aware of that, and you have to be able to like fight the negativity, but you can't do it in a false way where you're just saying, "Oh, everything's fine, everything's rainbows and unicorns." Whereas, I mean, I'm not talking about negativity in the context of like world news, and inflation and war in Ukraine and everything. But everybody has challenges every day that they have to face. And if you're just like in this positivity where everything is fine, then you're either going to ignore the things that you need to do to survive, or you're going to like just get into a situation where you're out of touch with reality. And it goes the other way too. You can have toxic negativity too. But I'm just like sort of being a devil's advocate here and saying, positivity, has its limits too, and you have to once again get back into the balance of between the positivity and the negativity, and look at things realistically. And that's one thing I've learned through my mental health journey is, just look at. I mean, when I first got sick, I defined reality as the creativity left in the wake of your dreams. So I thought that was like a very good definition of reality. But it's like, this is basically a dream, but you have to be able to influence your own thinking and your own ability to dream. And so that balance is important, but also don't lose yourself either to negative or toxic positivity, toxic positivity or negativity, but look at things realistically. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I like that. I like the way, I mean, I learn so much from every podcast that I go on to. You know what I mean? You all give me tools, and not just me, I'm sure all the listeners. I feel like it gives me tools to work on myself on a consistent basis, on a constant basis, to where I can, or we can have that balance. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
To look at it in the way that you described it, wow, that's going to be on my, that's something that I'm going to carry with me, Okay, Andrea, you're all positive and everything's roses and everything. You know what I'm saying? Let's get back to reality, because the negative is going to come. It's there. You deal with both in our life. So you're helping me to see it in a new perspective that I really can grasp. And I think it would be helpful for me, moving forward.
Well, I by no means want to like put down positivity or affirmations or anything, because they are very important, and you have to like maintain. I mean, I'm probably like one of the most optimistic people you ever find, but still it's like, if you're in pain, then you have to deal with the pain. If you're having problems, then you have to deal with the problems. And, no amount of, well, life is great and the universe is looking after me is going to take it away if you really like in crisis, and that's the point. That's the bottom line that I'm trying to get at.
I like that because it takes me back to my situation at the store.
Right.
It was all looking negative. You know what I mean? It was all looking horrible, But look, I'm here. I was able to overcome it. You were on the ride with me of overcoming it.
Right.
And then once, so you're right. What you just said kind of just took me right back to where I was just a few minutes ago. You know what I mean? And look at me now. I'm able to smile and I'm good and I'm okay and I'm not freaking out. And we're on our podcast show and it's all good right now.
Well,
so I guess that could be balance, finding the balance in all of that.
Right. Well, I meant the universe is great and the universe will help you, but you also have to be willing to help yourself. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I was sitting there, I was letting it out for sure.
Right. And that's why the man paid for your groceries, because he saw that you were genuinely in distress, and
I got the sweating and everything, Dale. And the guys standing around me, the other men, they were like, they saw the sweat it just pours on me when a stressful, especially when a stressful situation comes. They were like, ma'am, are you okay? And I was like, if I pass out, just call 911. I said, there's a number for Dale in my phone. Call him and tell him.
Right. Well, I admire the way you got through that. And I mean, God bless that man. God bless the man who helped you with the groceries. But,
And he wouldn't give me his name. He wouldn't let me have his phone number because he didn't want me to, because I said, I can get it back to you. He said, no. Nope. Wow. He wouldn't give me the information. He paid, put his card in there, paid. And I stood there with tears running down my face in joy and relief. But then I was still like, but I got to get to Dale. So
it doesn't everybody, Andrea. Everybody.
So they helped me while I was getting on here trying to get with you. They were loading groceries in my friend's car for me.
Cool. Well, we got about 2 minutes left. So any parting thoughts or any revelations you had today that you want to share?
Well, I want to say that, we find ourselves in distressful situations sometimes. And it's all in how we react to it. Like the old me, I probably would have cussed everybody out.
Right.
Blame the system, but I didn't. I was able to be vulnerably in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And feel the feelings that I was feeling, be able to express myself without, cursing and being rude to people, but just trying to deal with the moment. Sometimes we have to just deal with the moments that we're in. Staying in the moment is hard for a lot of us. So I would say, try to stay in the moment and try to find that balance between the negative and the positive. And, looking at that situation, I can sit here now, look at all the positives that came out of it. And it going through distress and things, it's a way to help us to know that, guess what? We can do it. We can overcome things. So.
Very, very wise, Andrea, and very wise from a mother of 7 who I know has wisdom up and down, because you have to have wisdom to have 7 children grown and everything. So, but I think we're at our time. But thank you very much. Stay on, and we'll talk afterwards. But thank you everybody for attending the show today, and I hope you enjoyed it and found it enlightening. And come back next week. We'll have another great guest. I'm not sure who it is, but I know we'll find revelations and insights. So Have a great day and take care, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.